Hello everyone, it is Simtastic for Real here, and I am back with another Planet Zoo video. We are at part number 5, and in this video I did the king penguin's habitat. I really wanted to do an actual part for you this time where we like check in on the animals, make sure they're doing okay, see if there's any other animals up for sale, not for sale, but up to rescue. And yeah, I couldn't because the king penguin habitat took me so long to do, and I really wanted to take my time and be really creative, and I had to place each rock by like on its own, as you see me doing it here. And so it just took me a really long time, and this particular video is pretty spliced up just because it did take me a while to do. It did take me a while to figure everything that I wanted to do and get it all planned out. It is one of our bigger habitats in the zoo, just because I really let my creativity go. And the other habitats, I really didn't honestly watch. Well, the Arctic wolf one, I was starting to watch videos on. The koala one, I was starting to watch videos on. The kangaroo one, I just wasn't really watching too many videos on that one, and I kind of want to go back and redo their habitats once we get enough money, just so that I can make it more like this, where it looks like, it doesn't really look like a habitat, it looks like they're just out in the wild, which is what I really want to do for the animals, because I feel like the animals in our zoo really need to have habitats that are more like, you know, you wouldn't even know that they're in a zoo. It's like they're just roaming in the wild. So that's what I really try to do with this habitat. And the penguins at the zoo, when I go, is the thing I look forward to the most, is seeing the penguins. I love penguins and they're just so cute. And I swear, you guys, so at the end of this video, you will see the penguins just kind of walking around in their habitat, just, yeah. And I just spent so long just watching them, and I was watching them dive and like do all these things, except when they were diving, it was raining out. So I did take a video of it, but it is raining, so it's not like the, you know, clearest picture because it's not bright, but I had to include it because it was just so cute watching them swim around. And I think I have 5 penguins in this particular habitat, and I really want to get more. I think it's big enough for us to get more. I have 2 shelters for them. One I did off camera, and then the other one that I did, you'll see me do on camera. But one I just kind of let my creativity go off camera, and I don't know, that was what I was trying to do with most of this habitat, was I was just trying to let my creativity go. So a lot of it didn't get recorded, unfortunately, but if I had recorded it, it'd probably be an hour long, even sped up, because it did take me a while to do. And yeah, when I was watching, when I was doing the habitat, I was just watching shows, and I was doing it at night, obviously, when my kids go to sleep. And yeah, I was just watching shows, just because placing the rocks is just so repetitive, and so you have to get your mind off of what you're doing, just because you will go insane if you're just placing rocks one by one down. I mean, you can copy and paste a ton of like cluster of rocks together and just keep placing them around, but I really wanted to make it look like it wasn't just I don't know, I was just placing them one by one. I really don't know why I was doing that, because I could have just copied and pasted it, but I was placing them one by one. And I was just trying to get a feel for the different keys that I can use in future habitats. So yeah, so see where we just kind of cut, and now we have like a bunch of rocks lining the habitat, which I did extend the habitat a little bit, even more than what it is now. Yeah, I believe I did, because I don't know, I just kept going, and then I was like, wow, this is a massive habitat. So at the end you will see it, and I'm not really sure if I really like all of the rocks being placed down all, you know, I don't know. The rocks basically covered the entire habitat, so you can't even see the terrain or anything. It's just rocks. But I don't know, I really liked it at the end, but now I'm wondering if I should change that a little bit. The thing I do want to change the most of is I wanted to change the underwater area. So that will come because we did start out with $100,000 when we started this. And then at the end, we were down to like 60,000. So it really did suck a lot of our money out because of all the coolers, and I had to get water temperature regulators. I had to get 2 new transformers, and because the habitat is so massive. And then I did put in some education boards at the front, which you will see. I don't know if I videotaped that, but if I did, you'll see it. But you'll definitely see it at the end. I put 2 educational boards at the entrance of the habitat, and then also I put a kind of like a cover. So the koala habitat has like a covering, and like where the people stand to view the viewing area, and then the Arctic wolf habitat has the same thing. And so I just kind of made it uniformly. So I just kind of copy and pasted what the Arctic wolves had and just pasted over here at the penguins. And I think I'm gonna do that until I get really creative with the coverings. And as our zoo grows and we have, lions and African elephants and giraffes, and we're creating like an African area or like an Africa area, then we can do that. And they have like Indian peafowls, which are birds, and then they have Indian elephants and some Indian animals, and so we could create like a India section and like all these things that I have in my brain. Like we can have an Asia section because I don't have the Asia pack, but you do have I'll have to look it up too online, because there is a website you can go to and they can tell you everything, all the animals in Asia, all of the animals from the different places. And I'll have to do that because the only things I can think of that are more Asia is the pandas, and like the 2 pandas. We have a red panda and the giant panda. So yeah, I'll have to look that up because it's hard. I don't know every single area where the animals are from. So yeah, it will be kind of cool to do different sections of the zoo. Like this one is the colder area, which it is because I was watching at the end a video, which I had some footage that I was watching some of our guests, and they were just going around this habitat because it is so cold. Like I put it at like -5 Celsius. So yeah, it's pretty cold. And as they were walking around it, they were like shivering. And the penguins really like it cold. So I may even have to change their cooling degrees so it's even colder than what I put it at, because I did put it at -5, but I was clicking on some of them and they were like, oh, it's too hot. And so I may have to change their temperature a little bit, but I did hide the temperature things underneath these rocks. So those are kind of good to have the rocks around. But I just don't know if it looks the best at the end because everything kind of looks the same color. There's no real color in the habitat. But I guess penguins, they don't really need a whole ton of color. I really want to get the vets to do a little more research on them, which I did start that once we put them in the habitat. You can have your vets do research. And so at the end, when I put them in the habitat, I was having the vets do the research because I think there are like little beds that you can put into their coverings, but I don't have that option. So I'm hoping that will come once the vets do a little bit more research, or even the mechanics. I don't know if that really makes a difference. If the mechanics do the research on the aquatic stuff, it seems more like a habitat thing. So I think it's the vets that have to do the research. I was going to put in some different colored rocks in the habitat, but I was just like, I don't know. So I just stuck with the aquatic color, and I did change the coloring of the water a little bit. So I made it clearer, but then I was like, you know what? Or not clear, but crystal. And then I was like, you know what? I kind of liked it as a clear water, because then you can't really see, because I didn't really do much underneath the water. Like, didn't really decorate it much. So that will come though when, I don't know, yes, 60,000 is still a lot of money, but we have to feed all of our animals, and I really just don't want to run out of money and we can't feed the animals, because that would be tragic. So I'd rather have them have food than make their habitat look gorgeous, like underneath the water, because placing all the rocks really sucked my money, and I didn't want to do it, but then I just kept going with it, and I was like, well, it will look weird if I don't do it all, so I just kept going. But yeah, here you see me doing some of the rock placement, and as you can see, it's very tedious. It's basically the same movement over and over again, but I was just kind of twisting them around so it didn't look like they were all just in the same, uniform position, because that would also look weird. So I was just moving them around and making them into kind of a pattern. And yeah, so as you can see, that's super repetitive, and that was basically the whole habitat. That's why I didn't do a whole lot of the filming for it, just because it just would be super repetitive, as you can see here, which I do think we cut off in a minute, because I just was like, I don't know if I really want to record all of this. This just seems super boring. But it seems like it's going on for just a little bit. The penguins in this game, though, I just was staring at them for like the longest time at the end. I have basically, 20 minutes of footage of them just walking around in their habitat, and then it started getting really dark, and I was like, okay, I gotta stop. But they were just so cute, and watching them just moving around was just so adorable. So we have one male and then 4 females, I think, or 1 male and 3 females. I can't remember, but I'm planning on getting more, because if you get 2 males, they start fighting, and so I believe so. I don't really know how to judge. I was looking at in their Zoopedia, I was looking at how many males to a female, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to look more into that, because I really don't know if they can have more males or not. It's very confusing for me, but I probably just wasn't reading it correctly. And I was pretty tired when I was reading it, so that's probably also the reason where I was getting kind of confused. Because I would like to get more males in here, because it is a lot of female, but I'm just afraid of like the fighting, and I just don't want the penguins to fight. I just want them to be happy and have a good time. But I do want to rescue more penguins, like I said, because rescuing is awesome. And what penguin wouldn't want to come and live at this habitat? It's massive. They have a lot of water. They can swim really deep, and it's just, I think it's even deeper than what it calls for. So, and I saw them like diving way down, so they really liked it. But yeah, you guys, as you can see, I spent a really long time on this penguin habitat, because they are my favorite, and I'm not ashamed of that at all, because like I said, and also I was just being creative, and I think once we get a little bit more money, which I'm hoping to, as our zoo grows, I think I have like a few gold penguins and then a silver penguin. So it's going to attract a lot of people, and I saw like the guests were getting kind of it was getting kind of tight on the stairway, like heading up into this area where they could view the penguins. So I can see that it's definitely bringing in a lot of people, because we do have like 2 gold penguins and a silver penguin. So what I did was I got rid of some of the rocks around the habitat, and I put in some of the window barriers so that they could see in from different angles, and not just having to be up on that viewing deck or in the back. There was some windows in the back of the habitat, but I had to move them because they were getting angry about some of the transformers that they were seeing, and I just don't really have a whole lot of money to hide the transformers yet. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna get you away from this back area, and then you can just go to the front and look at the penguins. Because the penguins have been coming up right at the front, so it'll be kind of cute to see them doing that. And then they do have feeders in the water, which I really wish I could have made a underwater viewing area, but I'm just really not that creative yet, and I was trying to do it, which I cut all of that footage out, because I was just trying to figure it out and figure out how to could make a underwater viewing area, and I just really didn't know the keys to use and, you know, the things to do. So we'll have to definitely look into that more for different animals. I really want to make an otter exhibit because I do have otters in my game, so I kind of want to make that. And if I do that, then I definitely want an underwater viewing area because they do like to swim and dive. So that would be kind of cool to see. And also the Arctic, I mean the polar bears. When we get those in, they really like to swim and dive. So that would be kind of cool to get like an underwater area. But they will not be coming into our zoo until, you know, way later. I may just kind of map out a area for them. But I don't think they'll be coming in until way later because I was watching someone with polar bears, and they said that they just take so much money because of their food, and it's too much. So yeah, we just are not going to be able to do that yet. But this is their second little hardcover shelter, so they are very happy with their shelter. I clicked on one of them, and they have more than enough space for sheltering. It's just that the beds, they just don't have beds that they can sleep in yet. Which I'm hoping that will come once the vet does a little bit more research. And yeah, I was just really playing around with the rocks here, and I just thought it was kind of cute to have those little penguin statues on their habitat over here. I mean, their hard shelter over here. I had it set up before I even put the hard shelter over here, and then I was like, you know what, that would be kind of cool to still have those little statues set up where they sleep. So I went ahead and did that. One of our penguins, actually, when I was taking the ending video and photos and stuff, they actually are expecting offspring, so that will be exciting to see a little baby penguin. I promise I will really try in the next part to just play instead of doing habitats, and then that way there we can see when she gives birth. I think that would be kind of cool to see a little baby penguin. Hopefully she has multiple. If not, that's fine. We can just deal with just one. I do want to kind of, I don't know if it's cruel to just put them on birth control because I just don't want a whole bunch of babies. I just really don't want to be like that baby making zoo. So I don't know. I may put some of them on birth control so that they don't just keep popping out babies all the time, because I just feel like it's just kind of cruel. But I do really like the little babies though. So I don't know, we'll see. But here I was just kind of decorating in the water with some of the rocks, and yeah, I want to do the rest of it because it's just not that great. And the way the water is colored, you can't really see very deep down, but once you see the penguins diving at the end, you'll see I haven't really done anything. So yeah, we will definitely have to fix that when we get a little bit more money. But anyways, you guys, we are heading towards the end of the video, so I will end the video here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed watching this habitat build, and I will talk to you all in the next video.